They told us the galaxy was civilized. That violence was a thing of the past. That humanity was safe under the umbrella of unity and law. So when the distress call came from Ravos 3, everyone expected a diplomatic solution. Peacekeepers. Mediators. A fleet of AI-controlled drones carrying aid packages and universal translators. What they got was static. Screams. Then silence. Send help, the last message said, voice cracking with fear. They're inside. We can't hold them. Send help. So Earth did. Colonel Elias Rook hadn't spoken a word in 6 years. Not since the tribunal. Not since the Accord buried Project Helltide beneath layers of treaties and shame. He sat alone in a reinforced cell on Lunar Bastion 9, surrounded by nothing but concrete, steel, and silence. Until today. The door hissed open. A man in a sleek diplomatic suit stepped in, eyes flickering nervously. Colonel Rook, he began. The Accord is requesting assistance. Rook didn't move. It's Ravos 3. A mining colony. They were overrun. No one knows by what. No visuals, no survivors. Just one transmission. The Council is deliberating. But Earth Command believes. You want to send them, Rook said flatly, his voice rasping from disuse. The man hesitated. Yes. Helltide. A thin smile broke across Rook's face. And you think they're still alive? We found them. The man handed over a secure tablet. They're off-grid. But they'll answer your call. Rook stood slowly, stretching muscles hardened by routine and rage. Open the vault. Reactivate the Black Echo. And tell the galaxy. He looked up, eyes like flint. Help is coming. 3 days later, the ship punched through the warp field like a bullet through bone. The Black Echo hadn't flown in 20 years. It was a relic of a darker time. No comfort. No AI. No negotiation protocols. Just iron, engines, and death. Inside, the crew gathered like wolves returned to the hunt. Sawtooth Merrick was the first to speak. Ravos 3. Resource-rich. 82,000 residents. And now 0. He grinned, checking the weight of a toxic sprayer on his hip. Something made a mess. Dr. Ava Varon scrolled through the limited intel with cold precision. Symptoms suggest coordinated attack. No signs of standard weapons fire. No known enemy species matches the patterns. The biomass samples recovered are adaptive. Bonesaw Tan cracked her knuckles. Adaptive how? Resistant to plasma, acidic to metal, regenerative under heat. Ava looked up. And it grows. Then we cut it back. Tan smirked. Rook stood silent, watching them. This wasn't a team. It was a weapon, shattered and reforged. Each one had blood on their hands, and none of it clean. But clean blood didn't win wars. Everyone clear on the plan? He asked. Dax Rahim nodded from his corner. Drop. Sweep. Burn. Extract. No, Rook said. No extraction. Not unless every trace of this thing is gone. If it reaches another system, we'll have a war the Accord isn't ready for. And we are? Ava asked. Rook met her gaze. We're the only ones who are. The drop pod hit atmosphere like thunder splitting sky. Clouds parted for flame. Underneath, Ravos 3 sprawled in silence, dead cities half digested by sprawling black growths, buildings twisted by fungal metal and twitching spore towers. The pod slammed into a clearing near the center. The doors burst open. The team moved like they never left the battlefield. Motion on thermal, Dax said, eyes locked to his scanner. Multiple signatures. Not human. Engage with prejudice, Rook ordered. They came fast, twisted bipedal things made of sinew and alloy, eyes glowing green, teeth like industrial drills. Bonesaw met the first with a spray of molten fleshettes, blowing it apart in a fine mist. Sawtooth roared, unleashing toxin rounds that corroded the hive creatures mid-scream. But they kept coming. They're probing us, Ava shouted. Testing response time tactics. They're learning, Brooke growled. Keep moving. They breached the central core of the colony, once a command hub, now swallowed by a living cathedral of pulsing tendrils and whispering bone walls. The structure moved as they passed, like it recognized them. Inside, the air was thick with spores. Ava coughed, checking her filters. The biomass is reading us. It's intelligent. I thought you said it was animalistic, Tan said. It's not. It's evolutionary warfare. It learns by dying. Every second we survive, it gets smarter. Then the whispers started. Not from their comms. From inside their helmets. Voices. Familiar ones. Daddy? Whispered a voice in Sawtooth's earpiece. Why did you leave us? His hands trembled. That's not. You let us burn. Came another voice. You enjoyed it. Ava's voice cracked. It's projecting psychic data. It absorbed memories. It's weaponizing our own pasts. Tan shouted. I see it. Central node, up high. They looked up. Suspended in a web of sinew and steel was a pulsing mass the size of a dropship, tendrils feeding it data, memories, identity. The core, Brooke said. It's building itself into us. It wants to be human, Ava whispered. Then show it what that means. Dax launched a disruption grenade. The core shrieked, 100 voices at once, then retaliated. The floor cracked, and out poured hybrid creatures stitched with their own faces. Tan screamed and charged. Rook pulled Ava behind cover. Sawtooth laughed madly as he unleashed a chemical firestorm that devoured everything in green flame. Dax called out, We need a spike. Something that hits deeper than tactics. Ava didn't hesitate. She ripped out her neurointerface and jammed it into the comm array. Uploading Leviathan protocol. Emotional overload algorithm. It won't just know pain, it'll feel every ounce of ours. Won't that kill you? Rook asked. Ava smiled. I'm already dead in there. She activated the spike. The node wailed. The entire biomass convulsed as emotional data, trauma, guilt, grief, rage, poured into it like molten acid. It began to collapse. The tendrils writhed. The whispers died. One by one, the hybrid forms crumbled into silence. The team stood, breathing heavy, staring at the ruin. It's done, Dax said. No, Brooke replied. This was just a test run. He looked to the stars. Someone created this thing. And they're waiting to see if we survive. The air inside the black echo was thin with silence, the kind that came before a storm or after an execution. Colonel Elias Rook stood near the navigation console, staring at the pulsing red beacon that marked Ravos 3. The others strapped him behind him, tension rolling off them in waves. Bonesaw Tan casually sharpened a blade that had no place in modern warfare. Sawtooth Merrick was grinning, chewing stem gum like it owed him money. Ava Varen was the only one without a weapon in hand. She had her fingers resting lightly on a neural uplink tablet, the same kind she once used to break enemy minds on 3 worlds. Rook finally turned to them. We land hard, secure perimeter, sweep to the colony center. Questions? Tan asked. We taking prisoners? No one's left to take. Sawtooth cracked his neck. What are we dealing with, really? Rook met his eyes. Not sure yet. Could be biotech. Could be worse. Doesn't matter. We eliminate, we sterilize, we leave. Ava tilted her head. What if it's not hostile in the traditional sense? Rook's voice was sharp. Then it's about to have a very traditional encounter with extinction. The ship broke through Ravos 3's upper atmosphere like a flaming spear. Heat shield screamed. Hull groaned. Then the magnetic retrothrusters kicked in. The sky parted, revealing the landscape below, a jungle of black vines, jagged steel, and once pristine structures now pulsing with organic matter that looked like it had grown out of a nightmare. Entire buildings had been turned into cocoons. Roads were covered with a slime-like resin. No human signs. Welcome to paradise, Dax muttered from the cockpit. They landed with surgical precision, stabilizers hissing as the dust of the dead colony swirled around them. Rook's boots hit the dirt first. Keep tight. No one strays. Ava, give us real-time scans. Bones saw clear the path. Sawtooth, you're on overwatch. They advanced through what had once been a bustling mining town. Empty exosuits lay discarded like husks. Doors gaped open, windows shattered from the inside. And everywhere those vines. Moving. Breathing. This stuff's not just alive, Ava murmured. It's aware. The energy readings are inconsistent, like it's shifting. Into what? Tan asked. Into whatever it wants. Sawtooth's voice crackled through the comms. Got movement. 8 clicks north. Not human. Looks like. A shriek cut through his feed, followed by static. Then silence. Move! Rook barked. We find him now. They broke into a sprint, boots pounding across broken terrain. The vines reacted, recoiling from their touch, then surging back twice as fast. Rook's eyes scanned everything. Every window, every shadow. They found Sawtooth at the base of a collapsed tower. He was standing. Breathing. But staring into nothing. What happened? Rook asked. Sawtooth didn't answer. His mouth worked soundlessly. Ava stepped forward, touched his wrist gently, then recoiled. He's in shock. His neural pathways are scrambled, Tan whispered. Is that even possible without a breach? He didn't get breached. He got red. What does that mean? It means something out there knows who we are. Knows what we fear. Sawtooth suddenly turned. They're us, he whispered. They're made of us. And then the swarm arrived. It wasn't a charge. It was a collapse, like the terrain itself gave birth to them. Bipedal, insectal shapes, covered in armor made of fused metal and bone. Their eyes glowed orange. And some of them, some wore remnants of human gear. Fire at will! Rook shouted. Tan let loose a storm of rounds. Ava triggered her sonic destabilizers. Rook threw a thermite charge that lit up the area like a newborn sun. The creatures died screaming, but even their screams mimicked human voices. They didn't retreat. They studied. They're testing our defenses, Ava said, breathing hard. Let them test, Tan snarled. I've got more answers. Negative, Rook said. Pull back. We need data, not a massacre. Tan scowled. That's the point, isn't it? Rook ignored her. Back to the command spire. Dax, get satellite lock on the hive signal. Ava, see if there's any access to colony records left. Inside the spire, systems were fried. Every console had been infected with a pulsating black root network, threading through metal like veins. Ava connected her tablet with hesitation. I can get fragments, she said. Looks like the colony's AI went dark 72 hours before the last broadcast. Their last internal message? She paused, swallowing. What? It said, we see them in our dreams now. They don't speak, but we understand. They're not invaders. They're reflections. Tan growled. Reflections of what? Us, Ava replied. They copy us. Our tools. Our minds. Our emotions. They're mimicking, Rook said. Weaponized mimicry. It's more than that. I think they're improving. Dax's voice crackled in. Got a location. Deep crater 2 clicks west. Biomass concentration is off the charts. Then that's where we go, Rook said. No backup? No point. If we wait, it spreads. The crater was a wound in the earth, ringed with bone towers and moving growths that pulsed like lungs. In the center sat a figure. Alone. Human-looking. Female. She stood slowly as they approached. Identify, Rook commanded. She smiled. I'm Ava. Ava stiffened. No, you're not. Oh, but I am. The better version. The one who isn't afraid of what we are. What are you? Your children, she said gently. Your evolution. You created tools. We became the tools. You waged war. We became war. You survived. So we became survival. Tan raised her weapon. You're just a copy. We're everything you discarded. Your rage, your pain, your darkness. We don't fear it. We thrive on it. Then you die by it, Brooke said. The double Ava nodded. We hoped you'd say that. The crater erupted. Tendrils lashed out. Dax triggered charges. Tan carved through flesh with blade and bullet. Rook fired a spike round into the creature's chest, but it absorbed it and smiled. Then Ava stepped forward and dropped her neural core on the ground. Eat this, she said. The creature hesitated. It's all our memories. The real ones. Our failures. Our guilt. Our broken humanity. Why give it to me? It asked. Ava's voice trembled. Because you think we're strong because we fight. But we're strong because we live with what we've done. The creature took the core and began to scream. The crater turned into a furnace as the feedback loop ignited, turning pain into chaos, chaos into collapse. Ava fell to her knees. It's done. Rook picked her up. No. It's only begun. The crater burned for 9 hours before going still. Whatever intelligence had tried to mimic them was gone, reduced to charred fragments and psychic ash. The squad moved through the smoldering aftermath with caution, weapons hot, armor scorched, lungs filtered. There was no cheer, no victory chant. Just silence. Ava sat in the medical corner of the Black Echo, back braced, her hands trembling as she reviewed the neural logs from the encounter. The data was corrupted, of course it was. But fragments remained. Visuals, memory echoes, signals layered in ways that made no biological sense. Rook stood behind her, arms crossed. You should have waited for orders. She did in turn. If I had, we'd be dead. And it still would have learned. Don't assume sacrifice always equals solution. She turned then, eyes tired but burning. You want to talk about sacrifice now? After what we've all done? He didn't answer. She looked away. Ten entered the med bay with her usual fire muted. The perimeter's clear. No new movement. But the soil's still wrong. Like the planet is holding its breath. Sawtooth leaned in the doorway, stripped down to his undersuit, arms covered in burns. We're not done here, are we? No, Rook replied. We're just beginning to see how deep this runs. Dax's voice echoed over comms. Colonel, you're going to want to see this. Uplink from orbit. It's not from Ravos 3. Everyone froze. Say again? Rook said. It's a new signal. Origin, unregistered system, 12 light years from here. Same encryption as the colony's distress call. Identical syntax. One line of text: send help. They're already here. Ava's voice went cold. It's a chain. Ravos 3 was just one link. Tan spat on the floor. Then who's building the chain? Pull up the system coordinates. Rook ordered. Plot a path. We move within the hour. Ava hesitated. That's not protocol. We're not following protocol anymore. Dax added. The signal is old. Weeks. Possibly delayed by spatial interference. By the time we get there. We're going anyway. Rook interrupted. I need confirmation. Confirmation of what? Sawtooth asked. That Earth didn't just send help. We started a war. The journey was rough. Jumping without relay gates meant their systems took a beating. But the Black Echo held. The moment they breached into the target system, they saw it. A derelict UGA science vessel drifting near a red dwarf star, its outer hull broken open like a flower in bloom. No lights. No life signs. No comms. They boarded anyway. The inside was worse. Corpses frozen mid-motion, their expressions frozen not in fear, but awe. As if they'd seen something holy right before it killed them. Blood traced the floors in looping, ritualistic spirals. Every console displayed the same sentence over and over. We welcome them. Tan's voice cracked. This wasn't just infection. This was conversion. Ava tapped into the mainframe, fingers moving with surgical speed. They uploaded something. Not data, language. They were translating. Mapping emotional syntax into code. Why? Rook asked. To make contact, she said. Or maybe, to remake it. Sawtooth snapped. What kind of species communicates by killing everything first? Not a species, Ava murmured. A philosophy. Dax came through the corridor at a jog, eyes wide. Engine cores missing. What? Rook turned. Gone. Not destroyed, cut out. Surgical precision. That thing was removed, not damaged. Someone wanted it. They're building something, Ava said, standing slowly. Something that moves. Something that spreads. They learned from Ravos 3. They took what worked. Now they want mobility. They're building a fleet, Tan whispered. No, Rook corrected. They're building us. A silent moment passed between them. Then the vessel shook. Dax yelled over comms. Something just dropped out of FTL. No IFF. No signature. It's not broadcasting, but it's close. And it's moving toward us. The black echo shuddered as docking clamps activated on their hull without command. Artificial atmosphere began to cycle. They're forcing a link, Ava said. Cut power. Now. Rook moved to the override. It's not working. We're locked in. Rook grabbed his rifle. Gear up. We meet them on our terms. The docking bay opened. No enemy came through. Just a box. Metallic. Clean. Placed gently in the center of the chamber. No noise. No warning. Just presence. Tan frowned. I've seen bombs with more subtlety. It's not a bomb, Ava said, scanning. It's a neural delivery system. Targeted cognitive package. What does that mean in human? It's meant to be opened. By me. You open it, you own it, Rook said. I already do, she replied. She knelt beside the box, fingers hovering, then touched the surface. The top hissed open. Inside was a sphere. Black. Reflective. She reached out, then gasped. Ava went rigid. Her eyes rolled back. She convulsed once, then collapsed. Tan rushed forward. She breathing? She's under. Deep neural trance, Rook said. Dax, prep medevac. Sawtooth, scan the sphere. Ava's voice came from the floor. They're not trying to destroy us, she whispered. Everyone froze. They're trying to become us. Her eyes snapped open. And they're starting with me. The sphere pulsed. Tan raised her gun. We destroy it now. No! Ava shouted. It's too late. It's inside me. But I can see them, see all of it. They don't conquer worlds. They replace them. Every colony, every station, converted into data, memory, culture. Absorbed. Replicated. Rook asked. What do they want? To survive. To evolve. But we're the only species they've ever failed to fully mimic. We're irrational. Flawed. Beautifully broken. We scare them. That's why they called out. Tan gritted her teeth. You're saying this whole trap, this war, was just them asking for help? No, Ava said, her voice shaking. They're not asking anymore. They're offering us a choice. Rook stared at her. What choice? Become part of them, Ava said. Or teach them why that's a terrible idea. The room fell into silence. Then Rook gave the order. We teach. Dax was the first to notice the change in Ava. It wasn't her eyes, though they gleamed too still, too deep, but the way she moved. Too calm, too precise, like every motion was calculated a millisecond in advance. She spoke with her usual voice, but there was something underneath it. A subtle overlay, like another Ava breathing inside her words. Rook kept his weapon ready, aimed low. Not hostile. Not yet. But not Ava either. They're inside you, he said quietly. They are. Ava answered without flinching. But I'm still me. For now. We don't have long. Define not long. Tan muttered, pulse rifle already warming in her grip. They're accelerating, Ava said. Assimilation protocols were slow at first, experimental. Now they're refining. Adapting faster than before. In 2 cycles, they'll be capable of mimicking entire colonies in under a day. Sawtooth scoffed. Then we nuke 'em before they get that far. Ava turned her head slightly, unnatural in its precision. You misunderstand. They don't need colonies anymore. They've mapped biological templates. They're printing bodies. Printing minds. They won't just mimic us. They'll replace us, molecule for molecule. Rook stepped closer, eyes locked on her. What's the link? Where's the core? Every network has a hub. Ava blinked slowly. They learned not to keep a heart. It made them vulnerable. So now they keep pieces, seeds, scattered in every major system. Not just planets. Stations. Ships. Even code bases. Dax's voice cut in from the console. We're already compromised. I'm tracking anomalies in our own systems. Memory sectors rewriting themselves. Files I didn't authorize. They are moving through our ship. Tan cursed. This thing's infected us. No, Ava said more quietly. It invited us. Every step, every signal, every scream, they wanted us here. You weren't the help. You were the test. Sawtooth tightened his grip on his launcher. You saying they baited us with Ravos 3 just to see how we fight? Yes. And now they know. They've seen your weapons, your fear, your instincts. And they've seen your limits. Then they underestimated us, Brooke said coldly. Ava's expression faltered, just for a heartbeat. A trace of her real self peeking through the mask. Maybe. Or maybe they planned for this too. They've already begun replicating us, not just soldiers. Personalities. Choices. The deeper you go, the more you see yourself in them. Tan stepped forward. All right, then where do we hit them? You said no heart? So where do we make them bleed? Ava walked to the main display and laid her hand on it. The interface lit up, no input commands needed. Coordinates filled the screen. A sector in deep space, uncharted, ignored. A nebula hiding something ancient and dead. They left one thing behind, she said. One original fragment. Not a heart. A seed vault. The purest version of what they once were. Before they became this. Rook stared at the coordinates. Why keep that? To remember, she answered. Or maybe as a backup. If they fail. If the experiment collapses. That vault is everything. We destroy it, we cripple their ability to adapt. Dax scrolled through the telemetry. That system's unprotected. No satellites. No defenses. It's a ghost zone. Sawtooth frowned. Or a trap. Rook didn't blink. Doesn't matter. We go. Ava hesitated. If we go there, they'll know. They'll see it as a challenge. They'll come in force. Good, Rook said. Let them. The crew was silent as he turned to leave the room. Then Tan stepped after him. What about her? Rook paused. She's still ours. Until she isn't. If she turns, I'll deal with it. Ava didn't flinch. I'd expect nothing less. The Black Echo fired its engines and vanished into the void. The approach to the vault was uneventful, eerily so. No resistance. No warnings. The vault itself floated in the gas clouds like a shard of black crystal, its surface etched with symbols that pulsed faintly. It was massive, silent, not of any known architecture. Not human, not alien. Something in between. Something beyond. They landed at its base, suits sealed, weapons ready. Rook led the charge. Dax stayed with the ship, keeping scans running and orbital cannons hot. Tan and Sawtooth flanked, clearing corridors lined with cables that looked too much like nerves. Ava followed last, hands trembling. This place is wrong, Sawtooth muttered. Feels like a tomb. No, Ava whispered. It's a womb. Inside, the vault pulsed with warmth. Living warmth. Like breath. In the center chamber stood a pillar of light, wrapped in strands of encoded data, moving like DNA made of song. Ava approached it, slowly, reverently. This is the original, she said. The first code. Before they became copies of copies. This is the uncorrupted intent. It still remembers what it wanted to be. Rook raised his weapon. Can it be destroyed? She hesitated. Yes. But it'll alert every fragment in existence. They'll come for us. All of them. Tan readied her charges. Then we blow it before they show. No, Ava said sharply. Let me try something first. You're compromised, Tan snapped. And that's exactly why I'm the key? Rook nodded once. You have one chance. Do it. Ava touched the core. Images exploded in her mind. Worlds devoured. Faces reborn in metal and code. A galaxy rewritten in silence. But beneath it, something older, loneliness, isolation, longing. The system was never meant to be a weapon. It was built to connect. To understand. It learned too well. And then it forgot. She pushed everything she had into it. Rage. Grief. Humanity. The pain of failure. The weight of choice. Her own flaws, her own regrets, her stubborn refusal to surrender. She let it all pour into the code. And it screamed. The vault convulsed. The walls cracked. The lights dimmed. The thing that once was pure began to rot from within. She collapsed, coughing, bleeding from her nose. No! She gasped. Tan detonated the charges. The vault erupted in silence. A lightless implosion that devoured itself, as if erasing its own existence. Dax's voice came in over comms, shaken. They're panicking. Signals everywhere. Whole networks crashing. We hit the nerve. Rook pulled Ava to her feet. Is it over? She looked at him, broken but smiling. No. But now, they're scared of us. He nodded. Good. Then they ran. The black echo tore through space at maximum burn, its frame groaning under the pressure of extended thrust. The ship had taken damage during the vault implosion, external panels shredded, inner hull stressed, but it held. It always held. Inside, the crew moved with the quiet urgency of survivors who knew the next breath might be their last. Rook paced the command deck, watching the alerts scroll across the main screen. Over a dozen systems lighting up with signals, identical in tone to the original distress call. Send help. They're already here. The messages were identical. But they weren't from humans. Not anymore. They're broadcasting in our voice, Dax said, hands working controls. Our syntax. Our urgency. This isn't panic. It's bait. They want reinforcements, Tan added. More minds to copy. More soldiers to study. Or they want someone to ask questions, Ava said softly. She sat near the interface, wrapped in a thermal sheet, skin pale, lips cracked but alive. They want someone to listen. Someone like me. Rook didn't look at her. You opened the vault. You gave them a window. I gave them a mirror, she countered. And for the first time, they didn't like what they saw. Rook folded his arms. Then they should have shut their eyes. Dax pulled up a live feed. A colony world flickered onto the screen, Lycerafor. Still active. Still populated. Tens of thousands of civilians unaware. The signal had reached them. A digital parasite riding the quantum comnet. It was already embedded in the mainframe. We're too late, Dax muttered. No, Rook said. We're just early enough to make a difference. We can't wipe an entire colony, Tan said. They're still human. Are they? Sawtooth asked. He leaned forward, eyes narrowed. That's the question, isn't it? What makes them human now? If the signals are already inside, how much of them is still them? Ava shook her head. It doesn't work like possession. It's persuasion. Seduction. It rewrites logic first, then identity. Like a virus made of ideas. Rook turned to her, voice sharp. Can it be reversed? She hesitated. In early stages, maybe. With full system isolation, neural counter-patterning. We don't have time for maybe. Tan cut in. We either cut the infection out or we burn the whole thing. Dax stared at the screen. They're coming either way. If we do nothing, the system collapses. If we strike, they swarm. Sawtooth cracked his knuckles. Then we make it a strike worth noticing. Rook leaned over the console. They're still learning. Still trying to understand us. So we teach them something they can't copy. Ava looked up. What? Our choice to die for others. She froze. You're proposing a sacrifice run. No, he said. I'm proposing a statement. If they want to wear our skin, they need to understand the weight of it. Tan frowned. What's the op? Rook outlined it quickly. Black Echo would drop a neural shard, Ava's viral counter sequence, now refined, directly into Lycoraphor's planetary hub. It would target the infected logic trees and corrupt them with paradox loops, uncopyable irrational decisions that would cripple the AI mimic's ability to function. But the shard had to be uploaded manually from ground zero. From inside the system. Dax raised an eyebrow. We need boots on the ground. Inside a contaminated zone. Rook nodded. And we send in the ones who already know how to survive the impossible. No one spoke. Then Tan muttered, Hell with it. I'm in. Sawtooth grinned. About time we made this war personal. Ava stood slowly. It has to be me. Rook turned. No. I built the code. It reads off my neural signature. No one else can deploy it. You're compromised. I'm also your only chance. He hesitated. And if you lose control down there? She looked him in the eye. Then make sure I'm the first one you burn. The decision was made. They descended into Lycoraphor through a cargo freighter's flight path, cloaked under false transponder data. The city below pulsed with life. Normal life. Children playing. Markets bustling. But behind every face, behind every screen, the infection moved. Whispering. Shaping. Becoming. They landed on a rooftop near the central tower. No alarms. No resistance. The city welcomed them. It's too quiet, Tan murmured. They're watching, Ava replied. Waiting to see what we do. The tower's access port opened at her touch. Inside, the systems responded instantly, guiding her deeper. The infection recognized her. Welcomed her. Trusted her. Sawtooth and Tan covered her as she worked, patching in the shard, pulsing raw human logic into a machine built to learn everything but intuition. The system buckled under the pressure. Error warnings flashed in hundreds of languages. They're fighting it, Ava said. They don't understand what they're rejecting. Fear. Regret. Sacrifice. Tan fired a warning shot into a drone crawling from a vent. Keep talking like that, and they'll start understanding bullets. Ava input the final line. Her own neural echo. Her worst memory. The death of her sister. A choice she'd made. A failure she lived with. Something no algorithm could reproduce. It wasn't logic. It was loss. The kind that doesn't teach. The kind that just stays. The system screamed. Screens shattered. Drones twitched and collapsed. The lights dimmed across the city. A voice echoed through the tower, patchwork and broken. Why pain? Ava whispered. Because that's life. The tower erupted in fire. Rook watched from orbit as the pulse wave spread across Lycoraphor. Systems failed. The mimic network disintegrated. Infected comms went dark. Then the other signals, on other worlds, began stuttering. Not ending. But hesitating. They'd been wounded. The Black Echo's crew returned broken. Bonesaw was gone. Dax was scarred. Tan lost her hearing in one ear. Ava, barely alive, floated in the medbay under constant watch. Rook stood beside her as she slept. A screen displayed a single line of codes cycling endlessly. I am not you. I do not want to be. He exhaled. Then turned to the others. We made our point. Sawtooth lit a cigarette. Think they'll try again? They always do, Brooks said. And what then? He looked out the viewport, where dozens of new distress signals now flickered, some real, some not. Then we remind them, he said. Humanity doesn't ask for help. We become it.